Hello, my friends. Today is June the 19th, and this is a psychic reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card pull to cover the year to follow. I do psychic readings, and I do healing work, and I do journey work. Check out my credits. I do a lot of psychic readings via the internet. Check out my credits. So this is a four-card pull. It might be 7 to 10 minutes long. Bear with me. This is a general energy card for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis. This is the general energy card of the year. It is the orphan. And the orphan, what is the orphan except when one loses one's parents? Maybe that happens, when one is born, there's no parents. Maybe that happens over time when each parent dies and one is finally left alone without parents. There's a deep feeling of loss. There's a deep feeling of pain. There's a deep feeling of abandonment on many levels. Now, if parents were not necessarily the kindest and you didn't have a good relationship with them, maybe there's not so much pain attached to it, and maybe there's a freedom that comes from being an orphan, that allows you to really pursue yourself in the way that you want to pursue yourself. There's a lot of different ways to look at the orphan, but on some level, the orphan is usually about feeling alone and abandoned, and feeling like that which was one's support and stability and nurturance and protection, as one grew, if one was lucky enough, then to lose that is to lose, a sense of oneself, because there's a deep connection to the parents, regardless of whether, they were there or not. Regardless, there's a deep connection, and it often made one develop paths of understanding and paths of protection long before you could understand really what that was all about. So maybe there's some old orphanage or energies that reside in you from being orphaned at a young age versus being orphaned right now, at 70, when your parents have died at 95. There's a very different energy around being an orphan, with time and understanding that has gone with it. So that's the general energy of the year, to look through the lens of being an orphan and what that means to you. Now, here's the particular challenge. It's the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant represents any kind of spiritual teacher. Now, from Buddha to, the pontiff, the bridge, the pope, to, a medicine person who understands deeply nature and self in connection to that, to whatever is the spiritual teacher. Now, this is about your challenge. Now, are you feeling like a spiritual teacher and you're helping people to understand themselves through the sense of being an orphan? Have you done that work yourself? Are you doing that work now? Are you trying to bring the highest understandings to what it means and feels like to be an orphan? I mean, this is your challenge. So I think it's saying that, you are now an orphan, and now you don't know what to put in that place of emptiness and longing and attachment, and what was your guiding principles. Quite often parents were our guiding principles, and now those guiding principles are gone, and they make us look at, what do we really believe when we suffer through loss. So I think there's a question mark into you as to what to believe, as to where to go, as to who to follow, as to who's going to bring you the best understanding about life and death, and being an orphan at whatever age one has to face that. And this is the action to take. Rabbits, beautiful, cuddly multiplier of energies, fertility, fecundity. But also, rabbit, is one of those animals they talk about as, talks about fear, and the sense that a rabbit sits in the middle of the field on some level saying, "Oh, eagle, don't eat me. Oh, coyote, don't eat me. Oh, wolf, don't eat me. Oh, as I nibble here, and I'm going to stay, if I sense danger, I'm going to stay perfectly still, and I'm going to hope that you don't see me and you don't come and attack me." And rabbit is also that ability to, if they're attacked, their healing pattern, and they survive, their healing pattern, like a lot of animals, is to completely shake their body free of fear and projection. If they're allowed to survive, they shake themselves out. They remove the trauma from their body. They let go of that fear that they had, because they can't live with that fear. If they're always in fear of something going to come and eat them, then they're always going to be, in trouble, and they're always going to be, unwatched, and they're always going to be super, super challenged. And I think on some level, maybe that is a lot of what you're dealing with, of looking at your fears, not letting your fears run you, not letting your fears be called to you, looking at what your fears now say to you. Are you alone in the field, calling up to eagle to not come and eat you? Is that your projection you're making? Are you a victim in this? Are you going to live your life, shake yourself out from your pain, look to some kind of teacher or teaching that can help you to grow beyond your pain right now, in being, quote, an orphan, in being, quote, abandoned. And maybe this is ultimately, the sense of abandonment by God, and being orphaned to God and missing a complete connection that you want. So you have to look at these things and face these things to the depth that they're willing to take you. And the outcome card is this beautiful card of understanding. It's a very, I think, compassionate card. It's a very eternal card. It talks about, the timelessness of our emotions, how they are really the things that water our growth and feed our lives. And even though they might be negative and hard and challenging emotions, they still go into the big swirl of things, and they still make us feel alive, and they still make us feel connected if we let them. And to shut ourselves off and to become, a drought and barren to our own feelings, and to not work with them, is to, I think, stop being a mother and a father to ourselves, and that's ultimately, I think, what this reading is about: becoming a mother and a father to ourselves, and our spiritual leader, and a spiritual healer, and a connection to the sacred within ourselves. You can't find it outside of yourself. It's not available outside of yourself. Sure, there are many mile markers and reflections and events and people who can take you in the directions that they think is right, but what do you think is right? What do you think is clarity? What do you think is sacred connection? And I think ultimately this is from the orphan to the king, or queen, from the orphan to the super empowered world, is, I think, is often about finding one's own courage, finding one's own strength, becoming one's own mother of compassion and nurturance, and becoming one's own father of protection and courage. Not that, those aren't mother and father both energies. But the softer, more intuitive side of self, and the analytical, more scientific side of self, are both the sides of mother and father that we look to heal in these kind of things. And this is just another big step in you learning how to be your own mother and your own father and your own sense of God, Goddess, Creator, inside of yourself and in the actions that you choose to do. May you be free from the fears that may be holding you, and may you find a way to shake yourself out of these fears so you can go on in a more beautiful and pronounced and loving and accepting and whole, WHOLE way. Blessed be.